4th in the East behind Cleveland, Boston, and New York. And listen to this. So we had Gilbert Arenas on First Take on Friday. He said the biggest threat to the Celtics is Milwaukee. Listen for yourself.
Do you have anybody beating Boston?
I think the Bucks. If Bucks can match up with the
Milwaukee Bucks. So
You're
you
the
think the
first
Milwaukee
person
Bucks
that
are
said that on this show.
a greater threat to Boston than Cleveland?
Yeah, they have a Giannis. He's the only one that can capitalize on those bad shooting nights that Boston will have. And usually it's about, if there's 7 games, they're going to have at least 3 horrible nights. They're going to have 2 great ones and then an average one. And I think if they try that if that's a matchup, I think the Bucks can upset them.
All right. Gilbert Arenas with the hot take there has the Bucks flying under the radar. Let me ask you this, Big Perk. Hey, how we feeling? Perk, you got me? There he is. Are we sleeping, Perk, are we sleeping on Giannis and the Bucks? I don't know if Perk has us. We'll get those technical difficulties
I
together.
got you now, Molly.
Oh,
I
you
got
do?
you now.
You do?
I lost
Okay, did you?
For a minute. Yeah,
okay.
I lost you.
Let me just ask you. I'll ask you one more time.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Are we sleeping on Giannis and the Bucks? Because Gilbert Arenas thinks they're the biggest threat to the Boston Celtics.
Oh, look, they're not the biggest threat to the Boston Celtics. The Cleveland Cavaliers are the biggest threat. Now, I will say this: the Boston Celtics are going to win the NBA championship. There's no team out there that can compete or have the personnel or experience to beat them in a 7-game series. Let's get that out the way right now. Now, we are sleeping on the Milwaukee Bucks, though, right? Like, when we talk about the top dogs in the Eastern Conference, the only teams I've been hearing of late is the Celtics, rightfully so, the Cavs, and the New York Knicks. Well, the Milwaukee Bucks actually Beyonce at the trade deadline. They upgraded. When they went out and got Kyle Kuzma from the Wizards, I thought that was a great move by them. Kyle Kuzma is a guy that has championship experience. He won the championship with the Lakers. He can be that third option to Dame and Giannis. They also went out and got Kevin Porter Jr. from the Clippers to bring in another guy that could come in off the bench, not only to create for himself, but also create for others. I love what I've been seeing from Brook Lopez of late. And think about this. They've been winning games lately without Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis will be back. I'm not saying that they're going to win the East. I still think Boston is going to win the championship. But I will say they are a real threat to the Knicks and the Cavs. Let's not sleep in that area. And I wouldn't be surprised if they happen to move up just a little bit to that 3rd spot. That if they move to that 3rd spot, they could possibly get to the conference finals.
No, I disagree with Gil. Look, I understand what Giannis is. You got a guy like Dame that can get hot and shoot, and we know what he represents. But they're not a bigger threat to the Celtics than the Cavaliers. With Donovan Mitchell playing the way he is, with the emergence of Evan Mobley, they go too big. They go 6'10", 6'11". They can defend. They can rebound. You got Darius Garland that can go off on a given night, and Andre Hunter, Ty Jerome. Nah, bro, it's not even close. Who's the bigger threat to the Boston Celtics other than the Cavaliers? Are we sure that the Milwaukee Bucks can beat the Knicks? And the Knicks leaves a lot to be desired over the last 2 weeks of the season, Perk. So for me, it's not even close. The team that can cause the Boston Celtics the most problems for years, because we know what Donovan Mitchell is. We've seen him go haywire and give you 50 pieces in the postseason. We see what Evan Mobley, we see the emergence. A guy that can do it on both ends of the court. We know, hey, Jared Allen is very efficient. You don't have to run plays for him. He's going to get it up the rim, put back. He's a lob threat. Darius Garland. Nah, the Cavaliers are the biggest threat to the Boston Celtics. And I understand what Milwaukee is. I understand Dame. I love Giannis. But they're not a bigger threat to the Celtics than the Cavaliers. Absolutely not.
Listen, even as me, as a casual fan of the game of basketball, who is still learning, who's still getting better and well-versed at it and learning and understanding the intricacies of the game, even I know better than that the Cavs are the biggest threat to the Cavs are the biggest threat
to the Boston Celtics.
To the Boston Celtics.
Boston.
On the other hand, as good as the Bucks have gotten, especially with the trade deadline, what they've done, we know who Giannis is. We know what Dame Lillard could do, and all the upgrades that they made at the trade deadline, but it's still not a threat. Perk, you said, based on what you see, knowing through experience, obviously championship experience, in time and playing together as one, the Celtics are probably going to win the NBA championship again. Right?
I don't know. They've won 8 of their last 11. To your point,
Even
Kirk, without Bobby Portis.
Yep.
I mean, and we know what he's good for too. So
even winning your 8 of last 11, winning your 8 of last 11 games, Perk, they still not playing the Boston Celtics.
They're not. Look, Chad, listen to me. The Boston Celtics are winning the championship this year. If they're healthy, they're going to win the championship. Let me correct myself. The Milwaukee Bucks stay in that stay or get that fourth or fifth seed. They could go to the conference finals and meet up with Boston. This is what I'm trying to explain to y'all. We talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers, and much props to them because they have been balling this offseason. But we have seen a Donovan Mitchell-led team have a drop-off in the postseason. Evan Mobley, he still have something to prove in the offseason. Both of you guys know this in sports, real quick. Both of you guys know this in sports. When it comes to the postseason, that playbook, that scouting report, it gets a little thicker. That shoot around in practices gets a little longer. I need to see what Darius Garland and Evan Mobley does in that situation.
All right. We got to go, guys. I got major breaking.
A lot of credit to LeBron James. I mean, the sacrificing part of it, because the conversation surrounding those two offensively was, can they play together because they're both ball dominant, right? And now we're seeing LeBron James take a backseat to Luka. And it's proven another point that LeBron James can play off the ball. We see late game that they go to their two-man game, and LeBron James all of a sudden becomes a screen setter for Luka Doncic. But I think it's the style of play that they're playing with, the spacing that they have when Austin Reeves is out there on the floor. And again, since January the 15th, they've been the best defensive team in the league, solely because you have a guy like Finney Smith and Jared Vanderbilt, who's been a pest since he's returned. So the Lakers have a system, and they pay attention to details, and JJ Redick is coaching his behind off. Last but not least, you have SGA, you have Jokic, and then you have LeBron James are my top 3 MVP candidates.
I agree.
We will not sleep on LeBron James.
I agree.
You literally just said that to me during the break, that LeBron is going to finish high in the MVP.
It probably will be in the top 5, top 3 at the very least, just like Perk's saying. I completely agree. And the success that the Lakers are having really immediately has to do with something that we've been talking about here before. It is the instant telepathy that he and Luka Doncic have on the court together, which you don't normally see. It's as if Luka just always knows where LeBron James is. I'll go back to what LeBron said. I'm a great wide receiver. He's a great quarterback, and these passes we're showing you are literally like Hail Marys or just long routes for LeBron, and he finds him. And watch this play. Tim Legler pointed this out last week, and look at how LeBron moves to the ball. That's not a pass to LeBron. That's a pass Luka threw to a spot, and LeBron understood, go to the spot, and in stride gets right to the basket. It's not, you can't defend that. That's a cross-court pass that he throws, and the two of them knew exactly what to do in that situation. Those are things that take time. A lot of times when stars get together, you don't see that happen right away. They need reps together. They've had that immediately, and that's why Luka could be, for right now in LeBron's career where he is, the perfect teammate for him, and why it's working.
That's exactly right, because Kendrick, he's 40 years old. The man is 40 years old, and so having someone else to carry a lot of the load so that he still has energy late in games and he can still do the things he can do, and he's not dependent upon to be running their offense for the entirety of a night. It really is exactly what LeBron James needed at this stage of his career, whether he realized it or not, Perk.
Oh, absolutely. And look, it's not just a duo down there in Los Angeles, and I'm talking about for the Lakers, definitely not the Clippers. They have a legit big 3. We can't, Austin Reeves, he's been injured the last, 2 games or so, but Austin Reeves is averaging 19 points, 6 assists, and 4 rebounds. His numbers are similar to Ja Morant. So they have a...
Hello, xin chào tất cả mọi người. Hôm nay mình sẽ hướng dẫn mọi người làm một chú thỏ màu tím nha. Đây là tất cả những dụng cụ mình đã chuẩn bị để mình làm nha mọi người. Mọi người cùng bắt tay vào làm với mình nha. Tiếp theo là mình sẽ dùng thước kẻ để mình làm cho thẳng ra nha. Tiếp theo là mình dùng kéo mình cắt nha mọi người.